Hello, I'm Wade Shepard from VagabondJourney.com. I'm here today with Sam Bove, who is a modern adventurer and also the author of the book Traveling Gentleman. I'm here today to talk to Sam about his well, basically he built a boat and he sailed it down the Mekong River in Laos. When did you do that, Sam?
This last winter. It was in March of 2011, I guess. Yeah.
So I'm going to talk to Sam about how he made the boat and how he sailed out. But to start with, Sam, where did the idea come from?
The idea
to build a boat and sail.
All right. Well, down the Mekong itself was basically, it was my friend Daniel's idea, who was one of the three of us who did it. But the idea to build a boat and go down a river is always, I don't know. I've had it before myself. I mean, it's something I guess maybe a lot of us have. I mean, but how the idea came to fruition was that my friend Daniel was coming by motorcycle down into Laos and stopped in Luang Prabang and decided that was a pretty ideal place on the Mekong there to build this boat. So, and I was, the timing had it that I went up and met him there. I was elsewhere in Asia, and we had our third crew member and captain, Zachary Wallen, came out, and he flew out and met us as well, and then we started. That was it,
Now, did you have this idea prior to getting to Laos, or is this something you came up with?
No, not at all.
Beers
I mean, my friend Daniel, he came down and he had the idea, I guess, when he got to Laos, and then he just, we just kind of talked about it through email, and we talked to each other on Skype once or something. Yeah, and it was like, let's do it, So
feels like a lot of drunk travelers have this idea. Oh,
yeah.
We're gonna build a boat and sail it down the river. But few people actually did this. Like you actually did this.
Yeah, we did it. Yeah. Well, that's what we do. I mean, Daniel and I and Zach have all come up with strange ideas like this before, and then we've just done them. And I think that's how you do great things sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So so you said that you built the boat in Luang Prabang, right?
Yeah, Luang Prabang, yeah.
How did you build the boat? Like what did you use to make it, and where did you get the materials?
Well, Luang Prabang is the second biggest town in Laos, I'm pretty sure, and so we were able to find a lumber mill and things like that. So we just we ordered a stack of what we figured would be all the lumber we needed. Some hardwood planking for the bilge boards of the boat, and then just pine, like Thai pine planking from Thailand, and just any standard boards that you'd use for anything else.
So the entire boat was made of wood?
Yeah, a wooden boat, yeah, definitely. And framing stock, like 2x4s for framing stock, and then that's how it started. I actually arrived about a week into the construction of the boat, and so when I got there, they'd already framed up the boat and planked some of it, and so we pulled it out of the water because, you have basically how it began was that when I was in the week that I wasn't there, in the beginning, they made an outline with little pebbles on the on the beach of the riverbank there, and then they made the bilge boards, so they connect with framing. They connected, I'd say it was four hardwood boards wide for the bilge, and then 2 sawhorses, and put them between. Laid the bilge boards on the sawhorses so that we could get the proper sag going. Like there would be the bottom of the boat, and then just a plank on each side to kind of lock that sag in. And they took it off, planked the rest, put it in the water so it could swell up, and then I arrived.
So how did you keep the boat from leaking?
Well, there's a week of that construction I missed, and there was about 5 more weeks of making it so it didn't leak, and making it so we didn't get rained on and all that stuff. Okay. And so what we did originally was, to start with, we turned the boat, so it's like upright, so we'd stand inside of it, and we got big rolls of tin and tin snips, and we cut long strips of tin, and we then in between the frame sections, between all the seams, we took, we backed all the seams with tin with thousands of little tack nails, We backed, and when we put the tin on, we backed it with this sometimes with silicone, sometimes with this stuff called kisi, which was denatured tree sap, I think, and you mix diesel with it, and it was real sticky and nice for doing that. It's horrible to touch, but you know.
Anyway, so you had like a multi-layer hull.
Yeah, so we
then the tin, and then
wood, and then we had the tin and the resin, the tack nails, and then we just like a normal boat. Once we'd backed all the seams with tin and all that, we flipped it over, pounded cotton in, painted the cotton in the seams there, and then tin again and the same thing on the outside. So it was like we sandwiched all the seams. In between the two layers of tin was the cotton.
Okay. And where did you get this design from? Did any of you ever build a boat before?
No, I mean we've all kind of worked on boats here and there. Our captain Zach Wallen he's the most experienced of that. But I mean really we just knew the concept of a wooden boat and how it's how you keep the water out and how things go like that. So. Yeah. It wasn't so complicated, really.
What did the locals think of you?
I mean, everyone, of course, is telling us we're going to die. I mean, that's like whenever you do anything cool, everyone just tells you you're going to die. And that was the same with this. It was like they would just come, because our boat was different, they would have these long, thin canoes and the big engine on the back with a long tail, and ours was a lot wider and kind of, it was kind of like more of a river yacht than a river boat. It's a little fatter and deeper, and we had like a little. It ended up being about 600 pounds when their canoes were much lighter, and then we had about 600 pounds of ballast in the bottom. So it was a real heavy boat.
And how many feet was it?
25 feet.
25 feet.
Yeah, about 25 feet.
And you kind of like put like an outboard motor.
Well, yeah. We bought one of these long tail engines, that you'd mount on the back. And the stern of the boat was higher than the bow, so we couldn't mount it on the back because the angle would have been too steep. So we, in the bilge we mounted it, and then we had the long tail shaft, coming out of the, under the water line, which was like, you don't see that there. Like it was totally not standard procedure, but that's what we did, and it worked well, If it had been a lighter boat, it would have worked a lot better, but it was fine. Yeah.
Okay. And after you had the boat all built and ready to go, what was the first time like when you finally took the boat out onto the water?
Okay. Well, let me clarify that we built this boat on a tributary, about 1 kilometer, maybe, as far as the river goes, maybe 2 or 3 kilometers up from the Mekong River itself. So it was a lot smaller of a river, and we took off, went down, and we ran aground a couple times, and we didn't know how to drive the boat yet, really, and we actually nailed the riverbank on a sharp bend, and front bow and stern, boom, boom, and got mud down on the boat. It went completely wrong. And we got a big leak because the boat got racked and everything, and that was persistent through the rest of the trip. And anyways, we had right at the mouth of this tributary, there was kind of like this part we'd been worried about, where we had to skirt through these rocks. This kind of like gauntlet of rocks there. There was also a curve, but we did that fine. We shot right through it, and then we were out there, and it was very calm. As we'd seen the Mekong to be in front of the Luang Prabang. Very calm and not a big deal. Just going along, it was real nice. But that was a very rare point in the journey when it was just completely calm. We didn't realize that.
Could you give us a summary of the trip? When you were actually out on the Mekong?
Yeah, I mean,
going down it. How many days were you out there for?
We were out there for about 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. We were out there, and then it came to its tragic end there, but we can get to that later. But in the beginning, the first day was okay. We didn't really come across any big rapids, but it was it's calm. It got a little rough here and there, but basically learned how to drive the boat. We were actually looking back on it, at the end we were very proficient at driving this non-proficient riverboat, through this river. But in the beginning we were in this calm spot, and there's a lot of whirlpools going on in the Mekong, a lot of kind of counter currents and strange things, and we were getting spun around, and it was calm and wide, and it's foolish. We're what's going on here, And then we, the first night was, first night and day of any trip was getting used to things, but we camped out, and we got we were attacked by some crazy supernatural amount of bugs that night. And I don't know, it was kind of.
Now, were you sleeping on the boat, or were you sleeping?
Well, we had to careen the boat that night because of this big leak we'd gotten. And but you know, we slept in the boat every night. Yeah, we had to like take everything out that first night and put it on the beach and all that. But we, you know, accidentally when we were cooking dinner, dumped gasoline in the pan instead of cooking oil, almost burning the whole thing down. but you know, anyways, that all passed, and we slept in the boat though. We did just because. I don't know. It was just better to sleep on the boat. Right?
Okay. And what were the biggest challenges or the biggest problems or the biggest adventures?
The biggest things were that, you know, we didn't have any real river map. We just had a map of Laos, you know, and then a couple places we'd see like a tiny little waterfall marked on the map, or like a little rapids, but you know, it was very hard to tell where you were on this map on this river because I don't know, it's very vague, you know. And so the main thing was that every day we'd just keep going down the river, and you go around a bend, and all of a sudden there's like, you know, the river would drop, you know, 3 feet in a very short amount of time, and you start cruising, you know. And you had to, you know, to steer at all, you had to go faster than the river. So you'd have to kind of choose when to gun the engine and when not to, and whirlpools, man. Big whirlpools. I mean, we get into rapids and there'd be big whirlpools. With the, you know, you'd get pulled towards them and sometimes into them, and then start spinning and all that. But that was also the funnest part. I mean, there's nothing better than driving that, you know, that boat down through those rapids, really, because you know, you're kind of in control, but not really.
What did the locals think of you? Because you built this boat, it looked very different than the local boat.
As I said, they, you know, the whole time we were building it, they really were just telling us we were going to die because the boat wasn't, you know, they could see it was too heavy and too kind of like cumbersome. And then when we were going down, you know, after a few days, it was kind of like, you know, they just look at us like, you know, we'd come like screaming down these rapid sets and then just be fishing on the side of the river to just like, you know, like we were ghosts or something.
Yeah, something you know? I've never seen before.
Like, what is this? Yeah. And then we were gone, you know, and just kept going. And I mean, eventually, once we'd gotten far enough, it was like, they were like, hey, you know, it's you know, good work. But it was definitely not there was reasons why that, you know, everyone had said that we shouldn't take that boat down that river. It's because.
Okay, Sam. So you built this boat. How long did it take you to build it?
It took 5.5 weeks, 6 weeks. Yeah.
And you're going.
And we had about a week of rain, or we didn't do anything. So,
okay.
You know,
so about 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And then you take off. You're going down the river. You learn how to drive the boat, how to operate it, and it's clear that the adventure really started.
Yeah, it's clear that
you really did this.
Yeah, more than we bargained for by a lot too.
Yeah. So So now, like when you're in the midst of this adventure, was it like you thought it would be, as you were planning it out?
I mean, I guess
was it enjoyable? Or?
Oh yeah, okay. Absolutely. I mean, it was. That's you know, it's a rare thing when something like that is kind of, you know, especially if you're working on this boat for 5-6 weeks, and it's a rare thing when actually, you know, your idea of it kind of comes out to be as glorious as it actually is. But it really was. It was more, as I said, it was more than we thought it would be. You know, it was more exciting and kind of more, like, kind of wilder than we figured it might be, and a lot more. Yeah, just it was better than really I would expect it to be, which is very, you know, very rare thing.
A lot of times people plan out these adventures, like, you know, going into the heart of Africa, or trying to go to Antarctica or whatever.
Yeah.
And like they plan out, but it's not really for enjoyment, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
They do it, and like, man, you read these stories, and like, man, after you've done like some things that are kind of similar, you're like, yeah, I know how that is.
Yeah, exactly.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah.
You know, that's fucking.
Well, the whole idea of also going down a river, you know, it's a lot different. You know, you can do, you know, I've done some traveling by bicycle before. That's, you know, that's great and everything, but you're working the whole time, and it's really, you know, going down a river is like, you know, you're getting, I don't know, it's different. You're going down a river, you know, you're not, it's, I don't know, everything's just happening and you're going along with it, and it's, everything kind of follows in that form.
You know? So it was like an enjoyable
you're
adventure.
just being taken for a ride. You're not forcing yourself on that ride, you know, you're not like pedaling yourself on that ride, you're just going for that ride. And then things are happening and you're there, and you deal with it, you know.
And do you have like any interesting interactions with local people, or were you able, by traveling this way, was it able to like give you access to places that you would never been able to go otherwise?
Yeah, we were shocked that you know, after day one, I mean, after 5 or 6 hours of day one. We were really someplace where there was no roads going, you know, along the river. There was nothing. It was just, you know, we were in the middle of nowhere. I don't know where we were in the middle of, you know. We were in the middle of the mountains, this and that, and you know, it was very jungle-esque at first, and yeah, we were very surprised that things got very primitive, you know, on the river there. We'd kind of see like a little village back in the woods there, and you know, we'd pull it back, we'd just like beach the boat up on a little beach there, or wherever there was a landing, or there might be a couple other boats tied up, and crawl up the riverbank, and you know, there's all these great big sand riverbanks, you know, and it was just, everything was kind of, a lot of houses made out of driftwood, and people lying around, and like, not much going on. We couldn't find vegetables for most of the trip. You know, people were fishing, and there's like, it was weird. They'd have dried fish, then they'd have like some canned stuff, you know. But there's no vegetables going on. I mean, I don't think people were farming very much. It was pretty scant in that front. People were eating a lot of roots and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so did you feel like you were able to learn a little bit more about Laos, or
yeah, it was good, you know,
because you made your own transportation, you traveled in a local way of traveling.
Yeah, I mean, it was you know, it's refreshing because Luang Prabang, you know, when you're there, you know that's not really how the rest of Laos is. That's like it's a microcosm really, and it was very refreshing to see, you know, to realize what a great, you know, wild place it actually was, you know, once you just leave a little bit, you know. And yeah, I mean, there was really nothing that, I mean, all three of us now, we want to do other river trips, you know, because there's something about, as I said, the way that travel is on a river, you know, the way that it's kind of just taken, and also, yeah, where you go on a river that you don't go elsewhere, and how you arrive there, and how just you go through a landscape, you know, you don't know what's going to be there, and it's just kind of, yeah, it was really great. Yeah.
Yeah, the rivers used to be the highways of the world.
I know, but they're not anymore.
The highways are the rivers of the world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, poor man's ocean. But yeah, so I definitely enjoy it more than any other way of transportation I've ever experienced before.
Yeah. So now, so you think that's a good way to travel? That's a good way to see the world.
I hate to advertise it too much, you know. But it is. I think that's a great way to travel. If you build your own boat, go for it.
No, it's been said that it's not an adventure unless there's a chance that you may die. Right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like adventure by definition.
That's a good
one.
one.
What dangers did you encounter during this trip?
Just it was all the river. You know, the river was there was definitely a lot of chance that you may have died on that river. Yeah, it was very much an adventure in that sense. I mean, it was the low season, so there'd be, you know, sometimes there would be a big, like a floodplain that was maybe a mile wide or something. But being at the low season, the river would run kind of like in a recessed little trough of sorts, and we'd be between, you know, rock walls, kind of, you know, and the river would go real fast. And I'd assume, you know, there were actually, we got the feeling that it was safer in the high season because it was slower and everything. But in the low season, it was the river would rush through little crevices a lot of the time, you know, little in comparison, maybe 100, you know, probably 200 feet wide sometimes, the whole river, you know. And so, and there would be, you know, it wouldn't run in one straight path. Sometimes it would branch off, you know, in a few places you wouldn't really know where to go. And as I said, those whirlpools and things like that. And we definitely, I think we were definitely helped by the fact that we had kind of done some sailing or worked on boats. I mean,
so you all had experience.
We had experience on boats, so we knew how boats work in the water. You know, which seems like a small thing, but it's not really. And that helped us immensely, I think. And but not to say that we didn't have our extremely fortunate experiences where we didn't crash, you know. Because that boat, it was heavy enough with the ballast, you know, 1,600 pounds, or you know, 1,200 pounds, where we would have definitely just broken up if we hit it. So,
I mean, like rivers are like, you know, they're things that take people like a lifetime to get to know how to navigate properly and safely. And the local people there, they know where to go, where not to go, how to do things. They have to stretch a river that they're the masters of. And you guys just show up on your boat and just shot right through it.
Yeah, and that was that's why it was so great, because really, you know, you had no idea when the madness was gonna start and when it was gonna end. And often, you know, we had a couple afternoons where it was just relentless, you know. Like we just go into rapid set, and we were just, I mean, it was the wildest rush I've ever had before. You know, nothing could really come close to that. And yeah, we, you know, it's just all just do, you know, quick decisions. You know, go that way, and we'd have a bowman with a paddle, and you'd have to kind of like wrench. Sometimes I mean, that kind of worked. Not really, but we'd get into a lot of spins where like we were very much out of control. You know, the boat would just kind of start spinning. I don't know why, really, but you know, we'd lose the bow, and it would, and we'd often get kind of saved because on the sides, as I said, there were currents going up. So I mean, we'd come real close to hitting the edge, you know, like a rock or something, and then there'd be this counter current going upstream. And it would kind of just push us off a foot away or something stupid like that. Yeah, that was interesting, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the boat, it didn't have a keel or anything on it.
No. But as I said, we had ballast. We filled like 6 grain sacks full of beach rocks, you know, river rocks, and that was under the floor in the village there.
Yeah.
So.
How was getting along with the other crew members being on this building this boat for 5 weeks, like doing this construction project that takes like a lot of teamwork, and then living on the boat and in sometimes dangerous circumstances for 2 weeks. How are you guys getting along by the end of it?
I mean, we're a pretty exceptional group of, you know, as far as 3 people combined together, you know, because we're also 3 people, but Daniel and Zach and I have all known each other our whole lives, you know, and as far as, you know, that doesn't mean so much in comparison to the fact that we're we very much kind of balance each other out to the point where there was really no problem. We were just having a great time, you know. Having a real good time.
And now you made it to Vientiane, the capital of Laos. Could you tell me a little bit about how this trip ended?
Yeah.
Like, what was the plan? Was the plan to like to ride
the plan was to go
all the way down to Cambodia?
Yeah, we were going to go all the way. You know, there were made a couple spots where we're going to have to take the boat and truck it around a couple waterfalls and stuff like that. But,
so what happened?
But basically, we had to stop in Vientiane for a couple of passport reasons of one of our crew members, and so we kind of stopped about 20 miles upstream from Vientiane, and it was like in a cool little spot, and we had to wait there for a few days.
And what you were doing is illegal. It's illegal for foreigners to ride their own private boat.
Yeah,
the thing was, in Laos, right?
Yeah, the thing was that we knew this all along. It wasn't a legal thing to do, and that, you know, eventually this whole fantasy would come to an end with cops and guns and things, you know. And
but so, all while you were building the boat, you didn't have any problems with the police. Obviously, everybody knew what you were doing.
No, but people were kind of like, "Hey, watch out! You know, don't talk too much about this, and don't let it get out too much, because that could happen."
And then why is it illegal?
Well, because for a couple of reasons. I mean, I think first of all, because it's as dangerous as it was, and they didn't want people just dying, you know, because you could have, as we said, and then also at a certain point, the river, you know, upstream of Vientiane, probably, I don't know, it was like 2 days upstream for us. The river, it turned into the border between Laos and Thailand as well. So that put through a whole other element into it. And the whole river is Lao territory, so they are in charge of, you know, kind of policing the whole thing. And they had one checkpoint, and that was Vientiane. And the rest of it was very feral and, you know, likely experience. And so they had to protect that well, you know, or else it was going to kind of put bad light on them. And anyways, what happened is we had to wait for 3 days in this riverbank upstream, and what we found out later from the cops is a guy from the army came up in a canoe and spotted us, and then that night we got, you know, at like midnight, a bunch, you know, probably 15 people came down, you know, all armed up and looking very much like bandits, and they you know, they just kind of checked it out, took some pictures, and we played dumb, and then they ended up leaving after a while, you know. We just thought we were going to get robbed, but we didn't. And then the next day, we were about, you know, the day before we left, I was gone, and it was just Zach and Daniel there in the afternoon on the boat, and a couple police boats came up. You know, they weren't the police boats in the traditional sense, but just a couple big boats came up, tied up to the Hound, which was our name of our boat. Okay.
And this was at night, right?
No. This was during the afternoon, and then took, you know, it was gone. They took everyone down to the you know, the cop station on the river and let it up. But yeah, I wasn't there, so I like hitchhiked back to the site at, like, you know, 9 at night after being in town. And no boat, you know? No boat, and that was it. I'd find them afterwards, go back to town, but whatever. Worked out fine. very, you know, it was kind of civilized, really. There was no bribing them, you know, we tried and all that and more, but it was kind of like an issue of, like, they had something, it's a little pride to protect, you know, by not letting.
So you just got back there and your boat was gone.
Yeah, and it was April Fool's Day too, so I was like,
so you thought your friends were playing a joke?
I was like, they're playing a joke, you know. I walked all all around there. There was just no boat, and then yeah, so you know, I was out there with no boat, nothing, and so I went to the little. It was on this property that we were on, you know, this loud guy, and I went to the caretaker's little shack there. And he gave me this note from the cops, like, oh, you know, so sorry you read this. We take your boat, and you know your friends are at the immigration. I don't know.
Okay.
So
And
that was it.
Did you have any legal problems?
No, they
didn't charge your friends or charge you with anything. They just collected the boat, collected your friends, and
yeah, it was odd. You know,
so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. It was very like there was no fooling around, really. You know, they were actually, those guys said they were courteous and nice about the whole thing. They actually had a good opinion of those guys that stole our boat from us. I mean, I don't believe that.
Go figure.
I went down and checked it out like the next day, you know, kind of all pissed off, and the cops came down, you know, where it was impounded, the cops came down and took me in. It was a couple hours before I got out, but yeah, whatever. Like they weren't really trying to hassle us. They were just like, nope.
Yeah, did they let you take your personal possessions back from the boat? Or
yeah, we lost some things, but I mean, we didn't lose anything we didn't need, really. You know, it's kind of like, I wasn't really in control of the situation. You know, they took my stuff off, you know, Dana and Zach, and then they were in control of that. I was just took what was left, you know.
Okay, so you're there in Vientiane.
Yeah, and then
you sailed down the Mekong for 2 weeks, and you know, had your boat stolen by the military, whoever those guys were. What did you do then?
Well, we went off to do some drinking because we were kind of upset, you know. So we went off to Vang Vieng and you know, party for a week and this and that. But that doesn't matter. We ended up going to Myanmar about, when was it? A couple weeks afterwards, and we ended up, you know, in our river lush. We kind of went to see a friend in Yangon, and then took a train up to Mandalay and went to the Irrawaddy River and got on this cargo boat and went for about 4 days. Now, you know, it was about monsoon season then, and for this big cargo boat, we took it upriver. You know, just kind of camped down on top of all these people. You know, wild scene. Went up the Irrawaddy River for about 3 or 4 days or something like that, and that was even wild. I mean, that's the river I want to go down. You know, I want to go down.
More wild than the Mekong.
Oh man, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Just seeing what was out there, and then we got off in kind of the highest point that we could get off. I think it was like the highest point we were allowed to go in, you know, legally in Myanmar. And then we, you know, made our way down. And I actually left the guys because I had to go back. I had money.
And so you said earlier that you're planning some more river adventures with the same group.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
What's on the list?
Well, it's such a good thing. Yeah, we want to make this into something that we can maybe kind of make into a way of life, really. You know, doing river trips and maybe, I don't know, maybe turn into something. So the next plan is we're gonna do the Mississippi to start out with.
And this you're gonna build your own boat for this.
Yeah, we're gonna build our own boat. It's gonna be bigger and it's gonna be different. We learned some things in the design and everything, and of the first one. But yeah, we want to start in, what is it? Coos Rapids, Minnesota. It's like the highest point you can start in the Mississippi of to fall in navigable water. And we're going to start there, build our boat, and go down. And we're thinking, we have various amount of themes. We do want to do a kind of like a photojournalism scene or series with Daniel as photographer, myself as journalist, and I know Zach as a trustworthy captain. We need someone like that. And yeah, we're going to go all the way down. And we're thinking of looking, checking out different blues bands on the Mississippi and investigating those. We'd probably bring someone that knows more about music with us as well. That's an idea, but really we can do anything. We're open to anything really. So as long as we're interested in it as well. So but the river trip down the Mississippi and building our boat. That's the next trip, and that's what we're doing.
And you mentioned that in Myanmar your friends kind of ran out of money.
Well, I was just running out of money. I just had to call it quits on Asia real quick.
So, how do you guys finance these adventures?
Where did we find this? Well, I mean, we all kind of.
How much did the boat cost?
The boat.
To put the boat in Laos. How much did that cost?
That was how much? Maybe $800 total. You know, with everything, engine included. You know, like the whole thing. So. Yeah, I mean, the wood wasn't that cheap. I don't know if we were getting ripped off or if you know, it wasn't that much cheaper than it would have been in the States, really. We were buying pine still, you know. It wasn't the greatest wood. It actually would crack and stuff, but yeah.
Okay.
I think it was a good price for the boat that we had, you know.
So you guys just worked in various other places.
Yeah, I mean,
saved up money.
Yeah, I mean, our Captain Zach, he works very consistently on boats, you know, on sailing yachts and things like that, and is a real captain. And then myself, I work on boats from time to time, and from time to time it's about good enough to save up. You know, one of those times is about good enough to save up for a trip like that.
Doing yacht deliveries, right?
Yeah, well, you can do deliveries, or I mean, yeah, or just working on a boat for a couple months or something.
Yeah,
like that.
oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's okay from time to time, in my opinion.
Okay. No. What would you say to someone else who wants to go on a similar adventure, whether it be building a boat and going down a river, or you know, accessing remote locations through unconventional or the unconventional means for tourism?
Yeah, I mean, what would I say? I mean, I wouldn't tell them how to do it, but I would just say to do it and to not really worry about it, you know? Because, you know, as you said, there's always a chance of dying when you would do something like that, and so just don't worry about that. and just do what you can to make it happen. Just go for it, you know? No point in not just going for it, really.
Yeah. For as long as the man's alive, there's a chance that he may die.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you just can't worry about that too much.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add about your first book or the book that you're working on now?
Nah, not so much. You know, it's what I like to do, and hopefully, you know, y'all can look forward to reading.
So you travel and you have adventures, and then you sort of base your books on your travel.
Yeah. The first one now is it's different, but the one that I originally wrote was it was about bicycle trips through America and Central America, and about just kind of what happens when you just let it go, you know, and all the wild things that happen when you do that. And it's an exceptional story, I'll say.
Okay.
And
Okay, so there you have it from Sam Bove about his boat trip down the Mekong River and his ideals and philosophy about, you know, traveling life and adventure and what adventure really means. It's Wade Shepard from vagabondjourney.com. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Cool, man.
Good afternoon.